What is up, FPG fam? Further here, and for today's video I wanted to go ahead and provide you everything that I know about the man Jiyan. I want to do a bit of a breakdown, let you know the information that I have, but also see what you guys have to say, because every time I do a breakdown video there are a few of you, massive shout out to you guys, who give me some more information and show me things that I might have missed or inform me about things that I'm not aware of. So I do truly appreciate that. The Wuthering Waves community is absolutely fantastic, as well as the PGR community. I know it's kind of all in one here, so I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all the support. So I do hope you enjoyed this video and get something from it. If you do, go ahead and drop a like, sub if you're new. I would love to have you guys stick around, join the FPG fam, means the world to me. Also follow me on Twitter. I would love to have some more of you guys over there on Twitter to be able to discuss Wuthering Waves. I post different things on there to get a conversation going, so it'd be great to see you guys over there. But let's go ahead and talk about Jiyan. Now, on the website for Wuthering Waves, which once again I'll have linked in the description down below, they have this cool profile, which I hope they do for future characters, and I'm sure they will, or future resonators I should say. The first thing that I did want to note is that we all noticed from the beta that from the IGN video that they provided gameplay, is that Jiyan appears to be a sword user, a katana user, as well as a polearm user, which is pretty unique, I would say. But the thing about the polearm is that it doesn't appear to be a solid material, and what I mean by that is that the polearm seems to be the dragon that is with him or within him. I'm not entirely too sure, like his spirit or the dragon that's behind him. Whatever the case may be, the polearm appears to be the dragon itself, so it's like a spirit that becomes a solid weapon that Jiyan can actually use to do damage against foes, which is really cool. And then the spirit goes away and Jiyan actually uses a sword, and we're going to go more into detail about that here in just a second, because you'll see some other examples of that. So that's the first thing that I wanted to point out. Also, when they Jiyan uses the normal attacks, you can see that during the normal attack he starts out with the katana or the sword, and then the spirit of the dragon comes out and it turns it into a polearm, and then you can see that the sword is still there but the polearm goes away. And then we move down to Jiyan's resonance skill, the wind stilling strike. Oh, I forgot to mention that the normal attack seems to be an 8 basic hit attack, or normal hit attack, which is fairly long. Usually normal attacks are like 5 or 6, but for Jiyan it's 8. You know, he's a giga chat. Anyways, moving on down to his resonance skill, the wind stilling strike further confirms that the spear is the dragon itself. So you can see, pop the skill, dash forward, do damage, and you can see the spear or the polearm, and then you see it go away and it becomes the spirit once again. So that just further confirms that the polearm is not a physical material, it is the dragon itself, and then it goes away. So that's really cool. Then we move on down to the ultimate, or they call it the Resonance Liberation Sky Roaming Certitude, and this is where the dragon just becomes a full-fledged dragon in of itself. Takes the form of the polearm, but also is around, flying around, doing damage, CCing the enemies, throwing them around as well. Now, one thing I did want to go ahead and note, when it comes to the ultimate, there's a few things here. So one, it appears that Jiyan has 2 ultimates. Now, I'm not sure because the IGN video didn't show it, which is a shame. I believe they should have, but unfortunately they didn't. I don't know if it's 2 different ultimates in terms of 2 different animations. So for example, the first one is this one, and then the second one provides a totally different animation. I'm not too sure of that, or if the second one is just a stronger version of this one, i.e. it does more damage, or it lasts longer, or something to that effect. I'm not entirely too sure, but in the gameplay, what you can see, and the reason why we know it's 2 different ultimates, is because when it's at a certain level, you can see the symbol is one symbol, and then when it's at a different level, the symbol changes into something different. Once again, don't know if that harkens back to it being 2 different ultimates, 2 different animations, or if it's the same one and it just has some different effects to it. Not entirely too sure. We'll have to, you know, actually use Jiyan in game. Hopefully we get into the beta once again and we can test that out to see, or we could just rate it with his skills, right? They don't elaborate here. Once again, that's unfortunate as well. They don't elaborate. But the other thing I did want to note with the ultimate, in the IGN video, when they pop the ultimate, you can see that the bar above Jiyan's health, that bar is in tandem with the ultimate, and the ultimate lasts for the duration of that bar. It starts to go down, and then when that bar empties, then the ultimate's done. The other thing that I did want to note is that it almost has a 100% uptime. It's like a 90% uptime. And what I mean by that is that the ultimate and the cooldown are almost 1-for-1. It's about a 3-second difference from when you pop the ultimate, the cooldown, to when that bar depletes. There's about a 3-second in between. Now, the other thing that you have to take into note is that when you pop the ultimate, how much energy you can regen back. It looks like throughout the duration of the ult, you can regen about 3/4 of that energy back. So it's that 3-second cooldown. You may have the ultimate up after that. Once again, these are things that we'll have to test before you can pop it again. Once again, it's a little confusing without actually being able to test it in game and to be able to test it in the beta. It's something that I'm looking forward to if I'm able to get in to be able to try out. But yeah, that's one thing that I want to mention with the ultimate. It's just a little more complex than it just being the sky roaming and you just pop it, right? There seems to be a little bit more to it. And also, we don't know the details. There might be some debuffing going on. There might be some other effects that are happening, increasing crit, increasing the aerodynamic element. It could have some other unique mechanics within the combination of the elements that you have access to. What does it do for QTEs? What does it do for resonance? What does it do for other reactions? We just don't have that information. Does it increase your attack? Does it debuff the enemy? These are all things that we would need to be in the beta to see the details in, to be able to get confirmation on. So but they lay out the basics here, right? They don't go into too much detail. They just lay out the basics. Now, what's very cool about this is that they go into detail about Jiyan himself, and they talk about inspections and the Forte, I don't know if that's Forte examination report. I could be mispronouncing. I think it's Forte. And what they state, which I was trying to find some more information on the other resonators to kind of confirm some things, but it seems as if the resonant chain functionality, it says it's intact and expressed clearly. And then it says that verified as a naturally awakened resonator, which that is really awesome to know. There's a lot of lore here and a lot of things that I would love to get answered. So if you guys know more than I do, let me know in the comments down below. But naturally awakened resonators, so that leads me to believe that there's obviously some resonators that are unnaturally awakened. But what does that entail and what does that look like? I'm not entirely too sure. We've seen from the story and the technical tests some individuals that kind of look unnatural. So maybe that's what it's referring to. We'll just have to get some more information if we're able to get into the beta, or you guys can let me know down in the comments below. Now, it says the Forte mark is located on the posterior ridge line. Now, that leads me to believe that that is this right here. And we know that that is on every character, every resonator in a different spot. So we've seen individuals in the technical test and in the story where they seem like they're getting taken over, and it seems as if things are getting a little out of control, and it may be in reference to that Forte mark. Now, it says subject is in highly stable overall condition and maintains optimal control of Forte. So it goes back to that mark on his back. Leads me to believe once again that this can start to get out of control if you're not strong enough to control what is happening. Maybe this is something, if you use it too much, it may start to take you over. It could be in relations to the enemies that we're fighting, which I believe that's the case as well. And it may go back to this naturally awakened resonator part also. I'm not too sure. We'll need to get more information. Medically meets the standards for working in regions exposed to intrusive Wutherons. Then they go to overclock evaluation report, resonant criticality, extremely high. Forte maintains overall stability. Once again, going back to the Forte, I think that's going to be a prominent, important part of the story. Mental state analysis, subject bears no temperament, maintains calm emotions. This could go back to the Forte mark. If you don't have your emotions in check, if you don't have your feelings in check, if you let things get out of control, that Forte can get out of control, and then you as a whole get out of control. However, mentioning of the battle of the gorges of spirits to the subject during the exam has brought mood swings, which later returned to euthymia within seconds. We know that word. Physiological state analysis, excellent physical abilities, no history of overclocking found. Once again, that could go back to the Forte mark. It could go back to the enemies that we fight, right? You may see some of them and they could have let the Forte get out of control, not have it under control. It could go back to that. Overall diagnosis at this time, the subject bears absolutely no risk of overclocking. And I think that's what it's in reference to. Overclocking meaning that the Forte, you let that just get too out of control. It takes over your body, and now it overclocked in a sense. Once again, this is for me just pure speculation. I've gone into the lore and looked into it, but I haven't truly deep dived since they've been releasing more information. So once again, if you know more than I do, I implore you, let me know in the comments down below. And this is basically everything that I found out about Jiyan. He seems to be a very cool character. He seems to be starting out a strong character, right? He's probably going to be one of those characters that you're going to try and obtain. People are going to spend money to try and get this guy on the onset. He's probably going to be on the first rate up banner, and he's just really cool overall. Great design. His attacks are swift, smooth, and once again, he's probably going to be strong from the onset and be one of those characters that you're going to want to have in the beginning, and hopefully scales well towards the end. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about everything that we went over with Jiyan. I know there might have been some minor stuff as well, you know, his attacks in the air, combos that you can do, and things of that nature, but these are the main parts that I wanted to tackle and talk about. So if you guys have anything additional, let me know in the comments down below. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name is Cody. You call me Further. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.